less hardware, more clamping force, simpler wheel system. These are key advantages hub piloting has over other mounting systems you've used in the past. What makes these advantages possible is the hub piloted design. Because the design is different, certain maintenance practices are different too. Once you master these differences, you'll find servicing hub piloted wheels easier than traditional ball seat wheels, and far easier than spoke assemblies. The hub piloted system centers the wheel on the hub pilots, not on the studs. The hub piloted system uses two-piece flange nuts. Never use ball seat nuts in a hub piloted system, or hub piloted nuts in a ball seat system. Using the wrong nuts can cause broken studs and cracked wheels, or worse, it can lead to an accident where someone is hurt or even killed. The bottom of the flange nut and the area around the wheel bolt hole are flat. The body of the nut rotates against the washer, not against the wheel. The result is less nut-to-wheel friction, less galling, and more than twice the clamping force than traditional ball seat systems. The hub-piloted system uses all right-hand threaded studs and only one flanged nut per stud. Compare that to ball seat mounting, also known as the double cap nut system. A ball seat steer axle wheel uses 10 cap nuts, but a ball seat dual wheel assembly uses both inner and outer cap nuts. On an 18-wheel tractor trailer, that's 180 cap nuts. A tractor trailer equipped for 10-hole hub-piloted wheels needs only 100 flanged nuts. With 8-hole hub piloting, the number drops to 80, a 56% hardware saving over ball seat. Follow the demounting procedures detailed in your Alcoa service manual. An inflated tire and wheel assembly packs enough energy to kill you if it explodes. Before removing the assembly from the vehicle, inspect the condition of all the parts. If you find damage to the wheel, tire, or hardware, deflate the tire before you loosen the nuts. Remove the valve core to make sure the tire deflates completely. Since we're talking about the valve stem area, here's a tip you can use on any disc wheel, whether ball seat or hub piloted, steel or aluminum. Use silicone O-rings on your valve stems. The rubber ones will dry rot. A cracked O-ring can leak and cause flat tires. When you install a valve stem, check the torque. You can get the correct torque values from the Alcoa service manual. Practice the techniques shown in the Alcoa service manual for mounting hub-piloted wheels. Grime can hide damage and interfere with seating. Clean the wheel face with mild detergent and the tire bead seat with a wire brush. Inspect the wheel for damage such as cracks in the gutter flange or from stud holes or hand holes. Remove cracked wheels from service immediately. Don't try to repair a cracked wheel. The only wheels you want working for you are ones that pass inspection in good condition. Check the rim flange for irregular wear caused by the chafer of the tire. Many service professionals are surprised to learn the tire seats on the wheel's 15-degree taper, not the bead stops. If you find excessive wear, remove the wheel from service. A rim gauge can show you whether wear is excessive. You should see a gap between the gauge and the rim flange. If no daylight appears between the rim and the gauge, the rim is too worn to keep in service. Moisture causes corrosion. For that reason, use only non-water-based lubricant. Make sure the wheel is dry before you apply lubrication. Lubricate the rim and tire bead immediately before mounting the tire. Use dry air to inflate the tire. Never use starter fluid, gasoline, or other flammables to help seat a tire bead. This is dangerous. You can get burned or killed in an explosion. Inflate a wheel and tire assembly in an approved safety cage. Use a clip-on air chuck or threaded straight chuck and remote valve with a pressure gauge so you can stand out of the way of a potentially explosive wheel and tire separation. A radial tire should be partially deflated before you mount weights. Another tip, use a balance weight designed specifically for aluminum wheels. Aluminum wheels are thicker than steel and have a different contour. Never use liquid balancers or sealants. These may cause the wheel to corrode rapidly. Usually, you can mount an aluminum hub-piloted wheel by hand or by machine, just as you would a steel hub-piloted wheel. That is not the case with non-symmetrical reduced well wheels. These wheels are designed to provide additional brake clearance. An Alcoa aluminum 19.5-inch RW wheel must be mounted over the disc side, that is, the outside face of the wheel, the opposite of how you'd usually mount a wheel with no reduced well. Follow the procedures established for safe wheel installation described in the Alcoa service manual. If you install wheels after a brake change, make sure the brake drum is properly seated. The drum should be seated on the pilot. One of the first rules for proper installation is keep it clean. Dirt and other debris in the mounting area can cause loose wheels. Clean the hub and wheel face before mounting. Because aluminum wheels are thicker than steel wheels, you need to measure for adequate stud standout. Measure stud standout from the wheel mounting surface to make sure there's enough standout to penetrate the wheels and engage the nut. Any replacement stud should be measured to make sure it meets standout requirements as well. Hubs designed for steel hub-piloted wheels may not have enough pilot length to locate dualed aluminum wheels. This is an important issue, particularly if you're converting from steel to aluminum duals. Measure the hub pilot to make sure you have a minimum of 1.06 inches for dualed aluminum wheels. Before mounting a hub-piloted wheel, lube the hub pilots to minimize corrosion buildup between the wheel and hub. If you skip this simple step now, you'll regret it later when corrosion makes the wheel a chore to remove. Use a non-water-based lubricant on the hub pilots, but not the face of the wheel, hub, or brake drum. To help combat corrosion before it gets started, we improved the hub-piloted wheel design with a groove recessed into the hub center bore. The groove reduces the contact area where corrosion can build up. Less contact area means easier demounting. Hub-piloted wheel pilots should still be properly lubricated, but with the new Alcoa groove feature, even unlubricated wheels will be significantly easier to demount. Before reinstalling a two-piece flange nut, lube the contact surfaces between the cap nut and washer with an SAE 30 weight oil to minimize corrosion between the mating surfaces and to ensure correct clamping force. Place 2 or 3 drops of oil on the last few threads of each stud. Turn the hub so one of the pilot pads is at the 12 o'clock position. Then position the wheel on the pilot pads. Notice how the outer wheel cocks at an angle. Many problems with dual wheels can be prevented by making sure the top nut is tightened first to seat the wheels. Follow the recommended sequence to hand tighten the flange nuts. The pressure from each nut, tightened in the right sequence, helps to seat the wheel straight and even against the hub. After hand tightening, use a torque wrench or a correctly calibrated air wrench to tighten the nuts to the recommended torque. A 33mm hex head flange nut should be torqued to 475 foot-pounds, plus or minus 25 foot-pounds. Other sizes require different torques. Ask the manufacturer for the proper torque values. If you use an air wrench, keep it adjusted to apply the right amount of torque. You can tell whether the wheel is going on straight by checking the pilot pads. If the wheel is on straight, it will set evenly on all the pads. Or check the length of stud sticking out to make sure it's the same all the way around. Lower the truck or set the parking brake to bring the final torque. Check a tightened cap nut with a torque wrench to be sure. Recheck the torque after 50 to 100 miles of operation. Check torque periodically from then on. Use only genuine quality studs and nuts. Counterfeit and otherwise defective fasteners are virtually impossible to torque properly. Ask your wheel manufacturer or wheel hardware supplier about suitable grades and sources of original equipment and aftermarket mounting hardware. The Alcoa name stands for Quality Aluminum Truck Wheels, which operations like yours have relied on for more than 50 years. Each Alcoa wheel comes with a 5-year limited warranty. That warranty begins from the date of manufacture, the month and year shown on the roll stamp here. As a professional, you need to know and follow federal regulations on proper wheel and tire service procedures. Keep up to date on safe, effective service techniques. Study service manuals, maintenance videos, and other training materials available from Alcoa and other manufacturers. Work smart, work safe, and maintain your hub-piloted advantage.